Walking into Petco, they'll look you dead in the face and they say they're not going to buy your fish, but if you want to surrender them, you can do that. Don't do that. Sell it online. Grab it like you're an Alaskan grizzly bear and it's salmon season. What's up, fish keepers? It's your boy, King Louis the 13th. I wanted to show you how I ship fish, how I used to ship fish. I'm going to talk about prices, temperatures, delays, and sizes. But why would I give up everything and tell all of my secrets? It seems like it'd be smarter to keep the cards close to my chest. However, I know in this ecosystem, the honest worm gets the bird. You don't want to be that honest worm. The honest bird gets the worm. If I'm forthcoming with my information, worms, the good ones, not the ones that come in your fish's gut from Petco. I've shipped hundreds of orders, really between 1,000 and 2,000 orders I've shipped by myself. Really gives you time to think. And not only is it good exercise, but you get to build muscle memory. This method, I do use insulation. I'm going to use breather bags. I'm going to show you how to use the poly bags as well. Discuss the sizes that I felt were favorable. All of the tools I'm using, the atmosphere around us, it does make it instantly accessible. If you walk into the post office, USPS, they've got the small box, they've got the medium box, and they've got the large box. However, if you go on their website, you get access to box 4, a secret box, a box that comes 25 at a time. These 3 boxes are flat rate, and it will adjust a little bit. If you go through a vendor like Stamps.com, you go through eBay, they have a merchant account that falls under, you get that discount. So $9, $14, and $19 respectively for the flat rate. It will adjust. I've seen it go up maybe $1 if you send it to Alaska. I've been able to get my mailman to lug 3 of these to my house in one go, but when I did a 4th one, that came the next day. Make your mailman love you. Order these. Now, I usually don't do this standing down. Okay, we're leaving that. Don't really need to narrate that part because whatever you decide to tape, I've seen a lot of cool options that is beyond moving day tape, but I've gotten quick with this like a warehouse worker. This is mainly a method I'm going to use for live bears, platies. We're talking the nano tropical fish. If you're doing the large goldfish, I mean, they get shipped in like half the size of a garbage bag. So these are little fish. I've had them horrifically last 23 days with this method, both the breather bag method and the poly bag method. I'm going to focus mainly on the breather bag method because you can use a medium flat rate box, let's say $14, gets you to Washington. But if you can make it under a pound and you just have to send something smaller for $9 to $11, Florida to Washington State. I'm going to take you onto the cutting room floor to show you how to chop the styrofoam you need for insulation. Let's go do that. My boss tried to get me to straighten out this room, but I told him no, I worked enough hours and I don't reckon I can get to it this week. He was gonna fire me, but it turns out I'm his only employee. That's because the boss was me the whole time. I'm sure this is very safe, the styrofoam cutter inside Legends of the Hidden Temple. We're gonna pull, of course, kind of balance. I lean into it, put my arm around here. And this is the point in which you're gonna hope you spent some money on this. This was the second to cheapest one. I bought the $89 one. It crapped out on me, ended up with the $120 one, and she's still chugging. And pull that whole block of cheese. Yeah, that's right, that whole block of cheddar. Now that is the power of pine saw. I just showed y'all a groundbreaking Brenton Original. Do it in your backyard, do it fast, magnify your manpower. And again, you kind of want to push it down and forward. They're not always perfect in terms of a square. But there you have it. That is how I shell it out. The same deal, I move to my next measurement. These are for the sides, and I will show you how these are cut. I'm pushing down. You gotta stop, that's fine. Don't panic. And there we go. There goes that block of cheese. I am sorry, bird of paradise. I am so sorry. This is the point where you would avoid getting your hair caught up in the mix. You don't want your hair to party. Give it a slice. Oh yeah, Styrofoam Asmere. Hold your breath. The smoke plume's coming. Hold your breath and pray. We ain't getting no lung cancer today. That's pretty morbid. What if these videos are the last thing my children have of me? And they're like, Father foretold his death. It was the only prediction he made that was correct. I hope my kids call me Father. Father was a soothsayer. Or influenced by peer groups, I think they're just gonna go with Dad. You call me Da.
Da! Where have you been?
Call me Da or call me Brenton's Fish. What if I change my last name to Fish? So we cut it on this side, and then I flipped it and cut it on this side because this is the flat end that was cut by the factory. And I would like to use the flattest edges as possible for reference. Almost goofed that. When we break in the middle, I think I like to come in from the other side. And look at that, bonus side. So that's how nice and neat these blocks of cheese will cut up for you with the box 4. All of these are the same size. So 4 of these equals 1 packed box. I like to cut these as needed. You met one of the harbingers that hold this steamboat together. I wanted to point out that this is a Brenton Original, taking the entire stack from Home Depot, keeping it in the wrapper, almost like it's a popsicle, and then raking it across that hot wire. Now, not all the cuts will be perfectly perfect, but to get that many in one slice, I used to do this 1 at a time, and it was painful. Now you can do it 6 at a time. That's 5 free employees right there. I feel a little dizzy, so let's get out of here. So you have your large stack, we have our bounty, and you just need 4. So we put the bottom in first. I guess I should explain when I measure them out, I could put marker right against the sides, and then I make up for the gaps I need by just grabbing a side and kind of use a marker. And of course, once I had my templates done, I moved on to just have a marker on the Styrofoam cutter. Push this in. It's strange doing it sitting down. This table is about waist height, so I can really kind of get my leverage. Give it a little hoo, hoo. As you may. Always start off with a V, right? Almost got it. Almost got it in reverse. So I put those 2 in first. And so the easiest one to put in next, of course, is this one going this way, because you still got to nudge that guy into that notch. Putting it diagonal and straightening it is the way to go. It helps if you look. Almost got it. This whole video should just be me doing this blindfolded. I used to serve tables, and when you get a few months of rolling silverware under your belt, it really teaches you what you're capable of. There we go. If you mismeasured or miscut and there's gaps in between, you can put a little shot of hot glue in there. You can use a scrap and just put a little block with hot glue and cover that corner if you're real serious about the temperature. Sometimes it's not so bad. I don't break down the sides until I assemble our animal, so I guess we should go do that. Before you ship fish, fast them for 1 day, fast them for 2 days maybe. It can get a little precarious if you got fish that like to be nippy towards their fry. However, fasting them a few days is going to prevent poop. Shrimp and snails are the opposite. You use the food to bring them in so you can capture them and send them off. Sometimes I use a net, other times they'll all come up to the surface. And I'll just grab a little cup of them, and with the clear cup, I can look at all the duckweed I need to pull out. I shift these guys back and forth. Get yourself 2 adults. You can do 3 really small adults. You can do probably 4 to 8 fry in these bags. But we've got our guys. This is the copper safe, almost completely clear of the duckweed. Sometimes I'll fill up the cups with clean water that's been aged in that trash can. The big trash can of aged water has a heater in it. I have it set to 78. I think it's really nice on cold nights like it is right now. And I am chilled to the bone. And these fish are chilled to the bone. The water coming out of the faucet is like 40 degrees. It's not enjoyable when the hot water goes out. In summer, it comes out of the pipes at 92 degrees in the middle of night. Used to have a small dunking cup. Now I just use a picture, kind of eyeball 12 ounces. I will usually take this anti-ammonia sponge and I put it right in the cup with the fish, and I put them inside the open face box. And it's kind of like just setting up orders. And then of course, when it's time to bag, I dump them in. There we go. This is 3 small adults. I grab that aged water that is warmed to a fresh 78 degrees. These are the 2 females, about 12. That's how we do it. You gotta pay really close attention to this. Gonna have to see it again. The entire empire is built on these pliers. I mean, there you have it. That's how you get fish from me. Compact, it breathes. Don't float these. Anti-ammonia pad, fast fish that are fasted. They're not that fast. And what we have here is the bane of existence for everyone who's standing at the line at the post office. Anyone who's doing that doesn't have a scale. It's too bad. They're extra cheap, and so we do the tie. This effectively cut my shipping costs in half. I always did medium flat rate. That was always $14. Now that I do this, it's almost always 7 to 9, sometimes 11. But there you go, a nice little water balloon. And I forgot to measure it before I close the top. Usually I'll put it open face out, I'll plop it in there, I'll measure it, but look at that. Muscle memory wins again. It's 12 ounces. Of course, the advantages of the breather bag is that it can sit in the mail, and with the anti-ammonia sponge, I feel like they just really do have the best chance possible. Oh look, they're hiding behind the pole. Oh, it has kind of like it feels kind of like a latex. I don't send the fish through USPS to give them nightmares. I do it to make it accessible for as many people as possible. FedEx can do overnight. I'm certainly looking into those options because once a year USPS will get you. They will take an abnormal amount of time. And right now, right after the Christmas season, we are experiencing that with shipping times. They can just go really slow sometimes and get backed up. One time I had a package go through Georgia. We're neighbors. You think it'd be a quickie. And then later I found out that they changed their distribution facility to Atlanta, and it took 31 days for a pack of shrimp to get there. And they survived. So not fantastic. But doing it with the styrofoam method, doing it with the breather bags or the poly bags with the 2/3 method, it works. They come down to about 33 cents a bag. It goes down a little lower if you buy it in bulk. There's Aquatic Arts that I like to use, but they were like 60 cents a bag. There's probably a supplier you can find that's even cheaper. I've never had any of these burst except one very recently. I think that by the pictures that came in, they were giving my package the Komodo dragon kick. So that's one for USPS. So we've got the cube. We were able to build it cheaper than ever. I saw this one company that were selling these blocks of styrofoam. And so this thing would cost you 33 cents, but it somehow would cost you $3 for the company to slice the styrofoam for you. Don't let them do that. They were sold out. They were sold out of those pieces. It made me think I needed to get out of fish and I need to start cutting styrofoam for people. So this thing will fit 5 bags max if we're talking about the 12 ounces. Like I said, this is what, January 15th, so it's the only time it's ever cold here, and it's cold everywhere. So I would recommend putting insulation. We're gonna leave room for the heat pack, but let's say a small order, just 1 pack of fish. These guys actually aren't going out tonight. They're reenactors. They're helping me.
Hey! This guy's a great big phony!
When I make big orders from other fish companies, I keep their box in case someone gets a big order from me. I really want to use the supplies, recycle the styrofoam cooler. It comes in 1 piece. It's pretty cool. So I have a stack of these boxes. So do that and your family will love you. But anyways, I will use anything as insulation except that recycling dryer lint. Probably super environmentally friendly, and that's because a rat family got to use it before they handed it over for you to use it. I, as a customer, felt enraged the first time I opened a package and it was like dryer lint hitting me in the face. I'm pretty sure they manufacture that in Zion, humanity's last city. But I order a lot from Amazon, order a lot from Target. They send me bubble wraps and things that I will reuse. I've yet to need to buy shipping supplies when it's just filler. We've got peanuts here. And while they kind of explode with happiness when you open them, you don't have to take this package out into your front yard as it sheds like a dog. I remember just the visceral experience of like the water hitting you, but there's somehow fuzzy in there, and then you peel back the first layer of bag to get to the second layer. I guess you get to float the second layer, you can't float the first layer. And there's no layers to breather bags. You're not supposed to float them, but I don't want to freak everybody out by having gray fuzzies on here. So that's why I don't use the dryer lint. Peanuts or styrofoam, they insulate great. You can just leave empty space. You could put paper. A lot of times I put plastic bags, wadded up. It's not important until you have extreme weather. So there we go. These guys are ready to rock. And by ready to rock, I mean they're probably gonna go right back in their tank. The heat pack, I would say if we were talking about time, it seems to be mid-December to early March. You'll need a heat pack, especially if you're sending packages up north. You're gonna rip it open. This is the 72-hour one. The red side's the hot side. It's not immediately hot. I put it face down in the bag, and then I roll up the bag kind of according to the creases. And so where the bag ends right here on the top, I know that the hot is right here. You can kind of look to see what part of the bottom of the bag faces, but it always faces that. And so instead of using tape to tape this together, I'll just put that potato right there, and I'll get 10 to 15 of these stacked up. And then when we're ready, we will cover our little friends. You could put this heat pack directly on the bag. Everything's so tight, they're touching the bag anyways, whether you tape it to the underside of this, you make this bag do the hokey pokey, it's all gonna be the same. It's tight. They're all tight in there. And this is when I pop open the egg. Boom! Maybe you put a love note in there, wishes. Maybe you could put directions in there. I've not advanced that much. I just hope people look at my frequently asked questions, my website, and they see you're not supposed to float the breather bags. It's not like 100% they're going to die, but it could choke them out. Okay, you kind of shimmy the top in there. And if you're lucky and you want to get yourself a little bit more space, maybe it goes above the box, and then you can still fold it. And hey, we beat the system. It might be a little bit over 7 inches. You give it a tape. You tell them what's up, and then off it goes. A label. There's many ways to print shipping labels. So my way, I just use this sticky adhesive paper. I put it through a regular printer. There's a beast printer that I love. When I used to work a desk job, we would ship this printer to ourselves across the country. It would come out of the box, creating all kinds of stuff, including labels. I put that label right on top of there, use my forearm, get it all straightened up, and these fish are going nowhere. A heat pack, I use 25 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I've recently had temperatures go as low as 19 and 20, and people still ask for the fish because they said that they were receiving fish alive. There was one person, I was asking them to wait, so I ordered some heat packs. I was waiting for the heat packs to come in, and it was in the middle of September or something where I wasn't expecting 46-degree weather. It was 46 degrees. He said he was purchasing fish left and right, and for me to go ahead and send it without a heating pack. So I had fish go out without heating packs where the lows were 46. The mail truck is most exposed on that final trip home. These heat packs usually last 8 to 9 days, 72 hours. The 96-hour one, the temperature spike is less steep on the more expensive 96-hour ones. However, this is the 72-hour. It serves me well. I read at some point last year that USPS was going out later at 9 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. over Amazon orders. I'm not sure if that's going to be every year, but as a result, there has been some flexibility where if you see a low that's like 25 or 26 degrees, you have to worry about it a lot less than if the trucks were still going out at 8 a.m. So there's a lot of chance involved. It's all that last leg of the trip, I think, unless some crazy circumstances happen. People send chickens through the mail, people send turkeys to the mail. They should be fine. So yeah, anything below 65 degrees as far as the lows, or anything below 60 degrees. I do try to keep in mind the highs. If the highs are going up to the upper 70s, I'll probably leave off the heat pack. The ice pack is pretty similar. So if you're rocking probably above 85 degrees and the lows aren't getting down to 70, you might want to do an ice pack. These will keep the fish safe up to 105 degrees. 105, 110. 110 it starts to get deadly though. 110, you might have some casualties. Learned this one from Corey. Condensation will pick up the bag if you put it in a Ziploc sandwich bag. And it almost fits perfectly. So what that does is when the ice pack is getting condensation, it's going to sweat like I'm sweating right now, and it's going to be retained in this plastic, and then you're going to bag it again. What your customer is going to get is a labyrinth of paper bags. They're going to love you for that. There you go, right on top of the bags. They're all iced up. The live fish stickers. I've seen packages move faster without them. I don't know what exactly is going on. Every time I bring these to the post office and they have live fish stickers on them, it seems to give that employee some food for thought. A lot of people go, I didn't know that fish could be sent through the mail. Or they go, what is that? So I do think that people look at this sticker. I've had packages roughed up at a higher rate without this sticker. I used to think it was just a placebo effect, and I would always put the sticker on there because I want the customer to know that I care, and that's just about it. So it was like a smiley face sticker. I ran out of stickers one time, and just probably 2 out of 14 packages got smashed to smithereens. 3? I think it was like 3 out of like 16. So I'm like, okay, I want to get live fish stickers again. I do use those. I like them bright. I like them in your face. They're annoyingly expensive on Amazon, so I probably should find it somewhere else. It's what USPS recommends. So I've had people panic. These are on other platforms. Everyone's chill that goes to my website. They're pretty experienced, but on different selling platforms, people are very quick to give you their opinion. They would send me links and they'd be like, USPS says that it needs to be this, that, and it must have a live fish sticker on it. It's gotta have that. Whoa. And I'm like, sure, but it does seem to be making a difference lately. We've got our box 4 packed, priority mail, but not flat rate. So a lot of times you'll have to tell websites 776. I expect my customers, I'm going to reuse this box. So let me know if you're the lucky winner of the video box. So have a blank label under yours. Like use a knife and just kind of come across the creases right here, pop it right down the center, and then go, oh, my package is here. Lovely. They open it, the heat pack is still warm, and then you got your fish. You look at a bag and there's a dead fish in there, you're gonna want to open these immediately. If there's a 15-degree difference between outside and you can feel that these bags are a lot warmer or a lot colder to the tune of 15 degrees, just set them on your counter for 15 minutes, let them adjust to the temperature of your home. In my mind, what I would like people to do is just rip open the membrane with their hand. Oh my gosh, not like that. Not like that. Probably pluck out the ammonia. Now you can just plop and drop. I would plop and drop with the shrimp. So let's say it's been in the mail, it's Funkadelic water. There's a dead one, you're gonna want to just get your live ones out of here quick and put them in fresh water. No acclimation at all. I have a very high success rate, but I don't pretend it doesn't happen. In case it does happen to someone, their anxiety is a little bit lower. The first, second, and third time ordering fish online, it's easy to get wrapped up in the game. For me on this side, it's a statistics game. The volume is turned way low, and usually I get like a 99% success rate, 99.9. If USPS starts messing up, it does dip to like 95, 94. I haven't got goosed many times by USPS. But anyways, Funkalicious water. I always hope they hold the net in my directions. I say just pour the water right over a container into a net. You've got your clean babies. I'm gonna go put them back in the tank. Hopefully this will double as a way to alleviate anxiety. And then by your 4th time, you're like, wait, I lost my mind those other 3 times. So let me have a plan. Let me get the net ready, the discard bucket. Let me get the camera ready in case they have some crazy hour window because they wanna shorten the availability for you to be able to return the fish. I don't like that. I don't like that. I got 2 kids. If they're screaming and I got a floating bag of dead fish, I'm gonna pull my hair out. with that hour. They say hour because they're trying to make sure you're not leaving anything on the porch. If it was an hour and 40 minutes and you were like, help, I think that these individual fish keepers would definitely step in. 105, it starts getting dangerous. 110, it's definitely too hot. 105, it might be too hot for the shrimp. Below 60, do a heat pack. Below 25, you're in the danger zone for fish. Around 20, 19, you're on the fringes of what you can send. If you're not using thick styrofoam, you should probably be a little more careful with those temperatures. If you have a large bag of water, you can be more brave, but I think you should still work within the parameters of that temperature because eventually this water is going to freeze. Those temperatures might shift. I feel like I might be describing to you a 9 a.m. start time for USPS when they could move back to 8. 9 a.m. means hotter summers, but warmer winters. So now I'm going to show y'all what you would pack inside of small, medium, and large flat rate boxes. These are also priority mail, but they are included in flat rate where the other one is not flat rate. Are you confused yet? All categorized under boxes they give you for free. It's not free though. They get their money back. The small boxes are a little different. There's a lot of bags that will fit in a small box. There's a lot of reasons to use a small box. Snails come to mind. Sometimes you can get a 8x20 poly bag, double bag a ball of guppy grass. I've always found guppy grass to be a little sensitive with shipping.
I'm okay.
And by that I mean the wet paper towel method doesn't work as well. It likes to fall apart, but in a big ball of water. And then a heating pack if you need it. This works pretty well. You get like 6 ounces in there. It just kind of stays together with this little clip, the perforated edges. It's like opening a cereal box. I like to give it the turn-a-roo. Felt the wind from that one. And there you go. Put the live fish sticker upside down on the box because I more or less want them to open it there. It doesn't matter, it's just there's not a flap, it's solid on this side. And the tape goes over the cardboard tab if they were trying to cut it open this way, not conducive. So, give them the arrows. That's one box. I almost always use insulation until I don't, but it's the same kind of deal with the styrofoam. Let me get this. With box 4, they're almost a perfect square, so you can just cut these styrofoam blocks into the square as you need it. It fits better. They all stack a little bit nicer. You only use maybe 75 cents worth of styrofoam. This baby, you use probably $1.50 worth of styrofoam. And then you kind of have to do long cuts. Your scraps are going to be different sizes. And then the sides are different. What styrofoam am I talking about? This styrofoam. Here comes a large box. This came from a different vendor, so the styrofoam's a little thinner than what I use. This is the large flat rate box. But with those long poly bags, you can put 10 to 14 guppies in there and they'll make it okay. They'll have enough air. I'm also going to touch on the other bagging technique. If you needed to send mini fish, you could use the bigger flat rate boxes. This one's good if you don't want to make tight knots with needle nose pliers. We've got aged water. We fill it about 1/3. You can't go all the way to the top with grabbing these bags with the medium. The large boxes are a tad longer, and so you can go the full length with these bags. These are the most common bags you see at the pet store. 6x20 or 8x20. I'll put the measurements on the screen. Standard bag that we all know and love. Water, you put the anti-ammonia pad in there, and then you do the grab, right? And you spin it, and that's it. You're gonna tie it. So I'm gonna do it for you again. You just want the air to naturally collect in there, and you do the grab. Now that one's probably a little long. Yeah. That knot isn't tying. And that would fit okay in this large flat rate box, but for the medium flat rate box, you need to give a little leeway. This is another task I would never do sitting down. The only thing I do sitting down is emailing people telling them the weather's too bad. Can I hold their fish just for a week? And there you go. That is where your fish live for their duration. I'm going to say this is a more forgiving, more stable way of sending fish than the breather bags. The breather bags bags are like fast little Ferraris, very cost effective. This one's like an old tugboat. It gives them so much water to swim through. It would be so expensive sending this at this weight if it wasn't in a flat rate box. But if it's a flat rate box, in some circumstances, you're paying twice as much as you need to if you're doing it all the time. But in a lot of other circumstances, it's the best way to do it. So sometimes if you've got a long stem, give it a cut and go ahead and double bag. You don't double bag breather bags, but you do double bag these bags. 2 millimeter thickness plus 2 millimeter thickness is 4 millimeter thickness. Now this one I've definitely not had bust on me yet. You gotta get creative, gotta be vicious. Holy crap, this is too vicious. Gotta handle these like they're baby cows being born. You don't have to shake it like that. There's no fish in here. There's no fish. I should have demonstrated a little better and not give it a whoa. But I do give them a quick spin. They're fine. Just get the job done quickly. Put them in their box. Put the cover over it. They'll appreciate you if you just make it quick as opposed to quaint. Quick, not quaint. And you're gonna put it right into that medium box. And then the other thing you can fit in there are these. I think the 2x20. Let me show you how to fill these up. These little tubes are pretty fun, pretty versatile. I like to put plants in here. I think it looks cool and exciting when customers receive them, and they can do fry, they can do shrimp. Let's do it. I'm really clunky with this. I used to have little plastic cups that would neatly kind of fit, but I've just started using this as my main sword. Brings me back those server days I was telling you about. Using the power of all of my past jobs. That's one of them. So again, it's a third full. It's a little over a third, but if you were doing shrimp, if you were doing snails, you could do half water instead of a third. If you're doing fish, you should really give them a good pocket of air. A grab, the same way. Hold it at the top, grab it like a trout, and grab it like you're an Alaskan grizzly bear, and it's salmon season. You can make these as short or long as you want to. You can go real long if you're in a large box. Sometimes you can stack them like vials inside here. You can fit them across here. So that's kind of the size I'm going for right now. I mentioned cutting all the styrofoam blocks, several of them with one swipe. I mentioned the needle nose pliers for tight knots. To double bag this, of course, we always go inside. So you see the inside knot is here over the outside knot. It folds the edges. I used to tape the edges here because I'd be so nervous. And you can barely get it in here to perform the same technique as this. It's very difficult. But what I found out, and not all of them are created equal, some of them will be more stubborn than others, but if you have a real stubborn one, you can rip this outer one just a little bit and go dip this in water. Got the outside dipped in water, and this pushing I used to do, it would pop. There'd be so much pressure, it would pop the entire thing. I'd have to redo the whole thing. But with the water and the opening, air can go through, we're pushing through. And it's still a pain, but once you get to this point, right there, okay? So there's no more gap. The edges are completely folded. You get that knot right up against those two corner flaps on the inside bag, and it rounds it off without tape. Boop, there we go. Now that's a water hot dog, and that is a Brenton Original. I mean, it's not because they sell these, right? But I never saw a tutorial where they said use water hot dogs, stick them in this tiny, tiny little box, send this to Hawaii for $8, send it to Puerto Rico for $8, send it to Alaska for $8. If you're in Alaska, send it to me in Florida for $8. So that's a way to do it. You can, like I said, put guppy grass in here in a bag like this, fill it up only this much, tie it really short. And if you have lots of slack, you can kind of like jimmy it in one of these boxes. Close that. Heat pack or insulation. If you're using this box, it's probably plants, it's probably hardy animals, or it's springtime and you're just sending fry or shrimp. So there we go. I give it a close. And a wrap around. The label goes on that side, and these labels that I use, the whole piece of paper covers this side. Pretty slick. And on this side, I get my patented logo, Live Fish. They know who I am. That's the name. Here comes old live fish boy, old Brenton fish. The medium box, we don't have the outline of the styrofoam, but you can fit one of these guys. And then you can really squeeze another one in there if you weren't using insulation. If you are using insulation, there's only room for this and one of these. Two of these. I think you can fit 2 water hot dogs in there if you don't have a heat pack. If you do have a heat pack, you can only fit 1 water hot dog in there. So a large bag and a small one. So you can sell packs where you're like 8 guppies and 4 fry. Woo! Don't shake them unless they need oxygen to give them a shake. But they're fine. Not going to take them on a 24-hour shake a marathon. However, shaking is something that helps when the mail carriers jostle this bag. Oxygen dissolves into the water. Large box. You can put the baby bear cub in there. You can put another baby bear cub in there. You could put a couple of water hot dogs in there too. One jostled in between the bottom, one jostled in the top. The heating pack nestles right in the middle. You put the top on, they're ready to hibernate their whole mail trip. So that's the large. We did the medium, we did the small, and I think that's all I got. Send your fish and send them good. Send those fish just like you should. On a crowded tank, make some bank. Send them to me and I will thank. I don't have tanks prepared like I should. Don't send them to me yet. Hold them for me. Send them to me, the narrative me, the ecosystem. Yeah, so that's it. I've had a lot of success with nano tropical freshwater fish. I've had a lot of success sending them with these techniques. Got a lot of water everywhere. Had a lot of fun. Something about that camera coming out. I'm just bound to spill water somewhere. This has been another episode of Brenton's Fish. I do hope that you found this video useful. I do hope you're able to give a lot more work to the mailman. Learn the techniques, live the techniques, and then you soon can work alone in the fish room late at night, surrounded by your pets and your decisions. Until next time, fish keepers. Until next time. Oh.